In his offer to retake the White House, few states hold as much guarantee for Donald Trump as Michigan. The previous president has, as of now, won the state, once, and President Joe Biden, who recovered it for Democrats in 2020, is confronting vulnerabilities there as he looks for re-election. Trump's campaign guarantees and forceful play for Michigan as portion of a vigorous swing state technique. But at slightest for presently, those guarantees show up to be generally conversation. The Trump campaign and its accomplices at the Republican National Committee haven't, however, made critical common race speculations within the state, concurring to Michigan Republican Party Chairman Pete Hoekstra. The National Committee, he said, hasn't exchanged any cash to the state party to assist support its operations heading into the common race. There are no particular programs input to court voters of color, and there's no common race field staff input. We've got the skeleton right presently, Hoekstra said. We're tending to ought to put more meat on it. It's much the same in presidential battleground states over the nation, agreeing to Republican agents and party authorities included in campaign arranging somewhere else. Broadly lauded for its polished skill and adequacy all through the essential stage of the 2024 race, Trump's political operation has been moderate to rotate toward the common race within the weeks after executing a hostile takeover of the Republican Party's national political apparatus. In truth, the previous president's group has rolled back plans beneath past pioneers to include hundreds of staff and handfuls of unused minority outreach centers in key states without advertising a clear elective. In fact, just 6 months sometime recently, the primary early votes are cast within the common decision between Trump and Biden. Trump's Republican Party has small common race foundation to talk of. Authorities on the ground in beat swing states are not freezing, but the difference with the Biden campaign is stark. This month alone, Biden opened 100 modern workplaces and included more than 350 unused staffers in swing states from Arizona to Georgia to Pennsylvania, concurring to campaign representative M.R. Musa. That's an expansion to the majority rule president's existing battleground state staff of 100 that was as of now input. Trump campaign senior consultant Chris LaCivita, who is presently running operations at the RNC, declined to detail any of the Republican campaign's plans. By combining strengths, the Trump campaign and the RNC are conveying operations fueled by energetic volunteers who care around sparing America and terminating Joe Biden, he said. We don't feel committed, be that as it may, to examine the specifics of our procedure, timing, or strategies with individuals of the news media. Trump may be examining technique with a few state Republican authorities behind closed entryways. Hoekstra was among a handful of Michigan Republican pioneers who trekked to Florida final week to meet secretly with Trump and individuals of his senior campaign group around plans for the common race. The discussion, Hoekstra said, cleared out him hopeful approximately the previous president's commitment to his state. I feel great around where we are, he said. The Trump group is locked in. Prior this month, Trump supplanted Republican National Committee Chair Ronna McDaniel with his modern hand-picked authority group, counting daughter-in-law Lara Trump, who is now RNC co-chair. LaCivita, who took over as the committee's chief of staff, promised sweeping changes within the GOP's political infrastructure over the nation. Within the days since, more than 60 Republican staffers over the nation were issued cutback takes note. They included essentially all the individuals who staffed the RNC's minority outreach community centers and others interior the committee's Department of State party's methodologies. There was never a completely cohesive bond between the Trump campaign and the RNC within the past, and we are presently working as one entity. Lara Trump said Tuesday on David Webb's SiriusXM Nationalist Channel program, "We have cut a part of fat." Confronting inside pushback on a few of the cuts, Lara Trump has promised that the committee's half-dozen existing community centers would stay open. but it's vague whether Trump's group will take through on McDaniel's plans to open an additional 40 community centers in the coming months. The centers were seen as a basic asset in boosting the Republican Party's connections with minority bunches who have customarily voted majority rule, but may be open to the GOP's populist message. Advocates suggest that such speculations have made a noteworthy effect in later a long time, particularly in competitive House locale, where a few thousand votes can make a difference. It appears that there's agreement that community centers are crucial for the Republican Party in general, said Sean Steele, a RNC part from California, who credits a community center in Orange County's small Saigon with making a difference. His wife, Rep. Michelle Steele, R. Calif, win her situate. Democrats, Steele said, have been successfully locks in minority communities since unused York City's Tammany lobby more than 2 centuries back. We're attempting to capture up, Steele said. I'm optimistic. Amid such good faith, be that as it may, there's moreover a profound sense of uncertainty as Trump's group revamps the party's 2024 battleground state strategy after burning the past playbook. Trump's lieutenants have as of now delayed plans and put sometime recently McDaniel's ouster that would have started including hundreds of Republican staffers in presidential battleground states starting this month, concurring to individuals with coordinate information of the plans who spoke on the condition of namelessness to reveal private discussions. It's vague in case or when the field staff will inevitably be input. As of late, laid-off staffers have as of late started meeting for new positions, in spite of the fact that a few have been told they must relocate to Florida or modern states. Georgia GOP Chair Joshua McCoon said he has had a few gatherings with RNC authority around the sending of extra resources to his state, in spite of the fact that there's no set timeline. What wins decisions is having the staff necessary to carry out your get out the vote arrange, so that's what I'm most interested in, McCoon said. I certainly anticipate to have further dialogues in the exceptionally close future, approximately the timeline, and having a few more specifics. He included, I feel like we're aiming to have what we need. Mindful of a building sense of urgency, newly chosen RNC Chair Michael Whatley issued a reminder to party authorities over the end of the week, promising that the committee is building on our existing programs and expanding our outreach at the RNC. He pledged to re-engage America's working voters, proceed to lock in provincial voters, and develop Trump's bolster with socioeconomics who have not customarily voted for our candidates. Whatley did not offer any specifics, however, aside from specifying a modern battleground state program that would coordinate authorities inside the committee's state party's procedures division to work with auxiliary Republican groups and other grassroots organizations in expansion to state parties. Trump's group did not clarify, when inquired, which grassroots organizations Whatley implied, in spite of the fact that the chairman sometime recently, his later race had aggressively pursued pioneers at Turning Point USA, a driving bunch in Trump's Make America Extraordinary Again movement that had been a driving constraint in McDaniel's ouster. On Tuesday, Lara Trump composed Awesome in sharing a social media post from Turning Point author and CEO Charlie Kirk that highlighted the group's endeavors to organize full-time vote chasers in Arizona and other states. In the interim, Biden's campaign prior in the month propelled a $30 million 6-week promoting barrage focusing on swing state voters with a specific focus on Dark and Hispanic-owned outlets and culture and sports programming, such as Comedy Central and ESPN. Biden is additionally hitting the campaign path with more escalated. He has campaigned in Pennsylvania, Georgia, unused Hampshire, Wisconsin, and Michigan in later days. He was in North Carolina on Tuesday, signaling the president's desire in a state that Trump narrowly won in 2020. Trump, by differentiate, has been hardly seen in public this month aside from his court appearances. Musa, Biden's representative, slapped Trump for grasping a common decision technique centered on apparently stowing away at his nation club.